Beijing 2022. Human Rights on Ice.
Since the start of the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing, we have been devoting a segment each day to highlighting some of the atrocities being carried out by the Chinese Communist Party. As I was just talking about in our previous segment about many of America's corporations. There are 5 American top-tier corporate sponsors of this year's Olympics: Visa, Airbnb, Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola, and Intel, the Intel Corporation. None of the advertisers surrounding the games have taken a stand against the Chinese Communist Party's inhumane treatment of religious minorities and others. They don't discriminate in who they abuse. They go after anyone and everyone who refuses to bow the knee to the Communist Party there in China. And now what they're doing is they are using their Belt and Road initiatives, which they're building. They're putting money in countries across the world to build this infrastructure for trade. But they're now sending these individuals out to basically help whitewash the image of China. I played this clip earlier, but I want to play this clip again. This is the Pakistan's Prime Minister, Imran Khan, on CNN. Play clip number 6, please.
We're moving in this direction.
We had our ambassador, Abinul Haq. He went to Xinjiang, and he, according to his observations, the picture is not what was being portrayed on the Western media.
Now, that was yesterday on CNN. Now, what they didn't talk about, and this pertains to a lot of individuals who get on television, including a number of former American political figures. They don't talk about the money and the connections they have to Beijing, to China. Pakistan is getting a lot of money from China, and none of this is ever talked about in the media. The media doesn't say, well, do you have a vested interest in China? Are you involved with someone who's on the payroll of China? But they're using this opportunity to whitewash their image and to cover the atrocities that they are committing against religious minorities. Joining me now to talk more about this, former Ambassador at Large for International Religious Freedom. He has served as a senator, Kansas governor, and in the last administration, Ambassador at Large for International Religious Freedom. Ambassador Brownback, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Hey, Tony, great to join you. And thank you for bringing this topic up. This is just so important, and it's very timely, obviously, with the Olympics going on.
Well, I want to talk about that. We were just discussing the fact that China is using its money is leveraging its money in the Belt and Roads Initiative to get people to come out and vouch for them. And you've got corporate America, 5 of the big corporate sponsors of the Olympics: Visa, Airbnb, Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola, and Intel Corporation. None of them saying a word about the genocide that's taking place in China.
Yeah, isn't that disgusting? I watch that, and they'll protest all the time things going on in the United States or the West, but if it's about China, they're silent. Tony, too, I think the American public needs to know this. A lot of these Western companies are what's propping up communist China. You pull these Western companies out of China and disentangle our 2 economies, and China is a wreck economically. It's a lot of Western companies that are propping up this totalitarian, communist, atheistic regime that exists in China.
And quite frankly, American consumers are helping. When we look at those products that are made in China, what we ought to do is, Our family has, since I've been sanctioned by China, and we've been tracking this for quite some time, we pick it up. And like these mugs I have here, stand mug, it's hard to find a coffee mug not made in China. I'm proud to say this is made in the US of A. And we buy everything we can made in America. We refuse to prop up any company that is propping up the abusive Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah, and that's what we ought to do. I mean, and that's the message we should be sending to all these companies and people that are propping up the Beijing government. One of the things, Tony, I've been very pleased about with these Olympics is these Olympics have shined a light on all the abuses and the darkness of the Chinese Communist Party. I mean, things have become in full relief now, and they're seeing about the abuse of the Uyghurs and of what's taking place in the country and of the Christians and what's taking place to them. And that's what we need to do, is speak out as an Americans. And I'm also pleased to see that this is now becoming a major political issue in the United States. What candidates running for the United States Senate are pro-China or anti-China? I mean, this needs to be a major issue in this political campaign season, and I'm starting to see it show up. I'm very encouraged about how much the United States public has pushed back against our relationship with Communist China.
You're absolutely right. And I have to say, Ambassador, you were a large part of that by bringing attention to what was happening to the Uyghurs in China and helping build that public support for religious freedom internationally. Ambassador, out of time. Always great to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, Tony. God bless you all.
All right, take care.